17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Toronto and beautiful Rogers Center. It's a gorgeous Sunday afternoon. This will be the season finale between the Kansas City Royals and the Toronto Blue Jays. And you take a look at the AL wild card race. The Blue Jays right in the middle of the hunt. They are 2 games back of that second wild card spot. Currently, the Minnesota Twins occupy that spot. They have a game behind the Angels. The Twins will be here starting tomorrow afternoon, so the Blue Jays can really make some hay in the wild card race. Take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They lost 7-6 yesterday to fall to 11-23 in one-run games. And Ned Yost Ball Club very good in one-run games. They're 15-19. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Royals. Escobar, Zobrist, and then Lorenzo Cain. Blue Jays need a new plan of attack for Lorenzo Cain. This season, he's 8 for 20. He scored 7 runs in the big right-handed bats. Had a good season in his first full year. And then look at this. Omar Infante bound in the 9th spot. He is 17 for 34 against Dickey, a .500 average for his career with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. Sometimes it's the little guys that do the damage against the knuckleball.
He's got the perfect swing, I think, against R.A. Dickey. It's very controlled. He uses the whole field, so R.A. is going to have to really zero in on Infante at the bottom of that lineup. Dickey gets ready for his 22nd start of the season, and he is working on just 3 days rest. Last time out, he was fantastic against Philadelphia. 8 innings. He did not give up an earned run. In fact, he hasn't given up a home run in 3 straight starts. He won his 2nd straight with that gem against the Philadelphia Phillies, so they're looking to continue that this afternoon. He's made 3 starts as a Blue Jay versus Kansas City. He's 2-0 with a very good .372 earned run average.
Defense is always important. Dickey will give up some contact. Good speed in the outfield with Revere Pilar and Bautista. On the infield, Donaldson at third. Troy Tulowitzki had the day off yesterday. He came in as a pinch hitter late. Goins moves back to second base. Colabello makes his 15th start at first. And Russell Martin handling the knuckleball of R.A. Dickey.
Catching R.A. this afternoon, you see Russell Martin. And Russell has caught all but 6 of R.A. starts. And last time against Philadelphia, he had some trouble. Watch the ball off the thumb, and it really bothered Russell the rest of that day. That time, that was during the warm-ups. You see him grab that thumb, start to feel it just a little bit. Then in-game, he got another one. Bounced off. You can see he's in obvious pain, but he has done a pretty good job. Since June the 2nd, he's caught 11 of his last starts. And the earned run average for R.A. Dickey in those 11 starts, it's under 3.
Dickey is throwing well. He throws a first pitch strike, and Escobar bounces a ball foul. It's 0-2. Escobar 5 for 15 against Dickey. He has moved to the top of the order. He plays every day. He's had a good season leading off.
Very good on base percentage, and he'll swing. He's not up there taken.
Little flare that's going to drop in front of Bautista for a base hit to start the game. Escobar with a bloop single to right.
Well, 0-2, you can see he is a swinger, so you got to get that knuckleball off the plate. It catches a little bit too much of the plate. When a guy's up there swinging like that, hacking away, he'll make contact. And Escobar just pushes that ball off of him for the game's first run or hit.
26 degrees at the start of play this afternoon on a spectacular day. Another big crowd on hand at Rogers Center. This has been Zobrist. He had a 2-home run game yesterday, homered from both sides of the plate.
He looks pretty comfortable in the second hole for Kansas City, doesn't he?
He's a very versatile player, and he's been down this path before. He has played in the postseason with Tampa Bay. The home run Zobrist hit in the first inning against Mark Burley was the first home run surrendered by a Blue Jays starter in 27 1/3 innings. And done a good job of shutting down the long ball.
A lot of times we'll see Ben Zobrist, who has had his problems with R.A., hit right-handed. He's a switch hitter.
Well, that's a great point. But you saw his numbers over his last 15 games. He's swinging a hot bat, so he probably feels comfortable here.
Yeah.
We have talked to Zobrist from time to time about why he hits one side or the other against Dickey. He said it's just a matter of how I feel on a given day.
And right now, swinging left-handed, he looks very comfortable. Hit the home run in yesterday's ball game very late.
Dickey had 1 and 2, and there's a check swing. No swing, according to the third base umpire. That's Scott Berry. count is 2-2. Escobar's at first. Dickey has to keep an eye on him. He will run 8 for 13 in steal attempts. Foul back by Zubbers.
You know, Buck, you got a lot of different ideas on how to hit the knuckleball, and it looks like Ben Zobrist has taken the approach, well, I'm going to get as far back in that batter's box as I can. He is almost out of the batter's box, trying to see that knuckleball for as long as he can.
2-2. Popped in the air on the infield. Sun is an issue here this afternoon. Tulowitzki calls off Donaldson and makes a catch. First out of the ball game. Troy Tulowitzki dealing with that bright sun high above Rogers Center. Boy, day games, it can be a challenge, and everybody on the defense has to converge. Tulowitzki has the eye black and the flip downs.
And they have to communicate with each other on a ball that goes up like that.
The Royals have had 7 hits in the first innings of this series. And they've done a good job of getting out in front. Lorenzo Cain, we mentioned his good numbers against the Jays this season. He takes one downstairs. Cain is 8 for 20 against the Blue Jays. There are the numbers of .400 average. Kansas City's a good ball club. They're the reigning American League champs, and I think these two teams, the series so far, has given you the feel of a playoff atmosphere.
It certainly has. The fans have been fired up. Both teams, they're not giving an inch when they have faced each other. They've been great games, and certainly does have a feel of a playoff game.
There's mutual respect across the diamond. Boy, the Royals coaching staff very complimentary of the Blue Jays and what they have done to their team over the course of this last week. And the Blue Jays, of course, a totally different look. Better defense, stronger pitching, and a much better bullpen. That ball squirts away from Martin, not far enough for Escobar to take a chance. It's 3-0 now. R.A. Dickey has been throwing the ball very well lately, and you go back to June, and Dickey since June has a 3-5 record, but his ERA is 2.96 in 11 starts.
And he's only given up 5 home runs. The knuckleball, he's been putting it in the strike zone very effectively. You haven't seen those wild games, those high walk games from R.A.
This is his first start against the Royals since May 29th last year. That took place right here at Rogers Center. There goes the runner. Ball is fouled back by Cain. It'll be a 3-2 count. When you look at that lineup he faced in his last start, there are several players that aren't here any longer. Pedro Siriaco played second base. Aoki was in right field in that game, and Billy Butler was the DH and the cleanup guy. A lot of turnover even for a championship ball club. Full count, 1 out. Well, he's running again for sure, and Dickey's aware of it.
You know, you have to run. You have to go right here. I think you got to put the pressure on the Blue Jays. It's a team that doesn't strike out a whole lot, the Kansas City Royals. So you got to start that runner over there. When you've got speed and a good hitter like that, take your chances that he's going to find a hole.
Not running. Surprisingly, he wasn't running. I'm with you. They don't strike out much. They haven't struck out 600 times as a team. They're the only team in the American League that can boast that. You saw Ned Yost in that previous shot we had of him, and he was reflecting the delivery of Dickey. Felt like maybe Dickey made a move with his shoulder before he threw that ball to first.
You know what he does? He does such a good job of holding runners and changing his times towards home plate. I think he caught Escobar flat-footed on that last one. He quick pitched him. And if you don't get a good jump over there at first base, there's no need to try and steal. That time R.A. a little bit more conventional. He held it a little bit longer and then snap the throw over to first base.
Base stealers are 6 for 9 against Dickey. Not running again. Cut on and miss. Kane strikes out. 2 down.
Well, I told you that knuckleball's been good, and he's been able to keep it in the strike zone a lot better since the All-Star break. It shows the improved knuckleball. The chase percentage is going to go up since the All-Star break because he's been throwing it for more strikes. You can see the strike percentage is up, so the chase percentage is going to be up, and I think that's what happened right there against Kane to get the first strikeout.
This is Eric Hosmer, the first baseman. Hosmer 5 for 12 in the series. He scored 4 runs and driven in 3. He's got a 14-game hit streak. Over those 14 games, he's hit 500.
Oh, he has been hot, red hot, seeing everything and hitting everything all over the diamond.
Hits this one hard, but Goins is there. Dickey will pitch around the leadoff bloop single. It's been a great weekend, and we'll have another day game tomorrow. Fans coming out in droves. Another big packed house here at Rogers Center. We're scoreless after the top of the first. .556 runs, and they have a plus 103 run differential. That's the second best in baseball. Let's take a look at their lineup. Right at the top of the order, Troy Tulowitzki got the day off yesterday. They're conscious of keeping him fresh on this new surface here at Rogers Center. Tulowitzki since the trade 5 for 14, 3 extra base hits, including a home run. Jose Bautista over his last 13 games. He has 13 hits, but 6 home runs. He had 2 of those home runs yesterday. It looks like Bautista's starting to heat up a bit.
Hopefully, just like the weather. Edinson Volquez makes his team-leading 22nd start of the season. This is his 2nd start of the year and 6th of his career versus the Toronto Blue Jays. He was signed to a 2-year contract this past December with a mutual option for 2017. Last time out against Cleveland, it was a struggle for Volquez. 6 innings. He had to pitch around 6 hits and 5 walks. Took him 111 pitches to get through those 6 innings, but he won that ball game, pushed his record to 10-5.
Kansas City is missing their Gold Glove left fielder, but they've got a very adequate replacement in Ben Zobrist. Alex Gordon on the DL, Kane and Rios in center and right. Chesler, Cuthbert at third base, Escobar and Infante up the middle, and a 2-time Gold Glover Eric Hosmer at first base, and the 2-time Gold Glove catcher is Sal Perez for Volquez.
That's good shortstop out there. Alcides Escobar, he's the American League starting shortstop in the All-Star game. He's durable. He's played the second most games at shortstop, 568. Since the start of 2012, he started all 162 games last year. He's the first shortstop to do this since Jimmy Rollins in 2007. Play all 162 games in a season.
Good player they picked up in a trade with the Milwaukee Brewers. This is Troy Tulowitzki. 2-0 count. There's going to be an ongoing discussion about Tulowitzki hitting leadoff. And it's an interesting discussion, and both Pat and I have been talking about it ever since the arrival of Tulowitzki. 303 for the season. Takes one inside and cuts the corner, and Jim Wolf has a very generous strike zone. He's consistent, and I guess you could factor in the fact that his brother's a pitcher.
Yeah, his brother's a pitcher in professional baseball. He knows all about that. He's a pitcher's umpire for sure, so be aware of it.
But I love that. 2-1 to Tulowitzki. Count is even. Edinson Volquez, 32 years old. He began his career with the Texas Rangers. Signed as an amateur free agent with Texas in 2001. Then he was traded from Texas to Cincinnati for a fellow named Josh Hamilton. Volquez is set. Inside, and Tulowitzki not going to test that strike zone of Jim Wolf.
Volquez was an all-star when he was with Cincinnati. Had a great year his first year there.
2008, he was 17-6 with a .321 earned run average. He spent 4 seasons with the Reds and had a 30-18 win-loss record. Bouncing ball, another foul. Volquez then went from Cincinnati to San Diego. The Blue Jays actually faced him while he pitched for the Padres in 2013. They played out in San Diego. Volquez was matched up against Ramon Ortiz in that game. Ortiz lasted just 2 innings, but the Blue Jays won it in 11. Tulowitzki had a great at bat in his pinch hit appearance yesterday. Line drive to left. Zobrist is there and makes a head-high catch in left. Edinson Volquez has pitched very well of late, and the one thing about him, though, when you think about pitching away from Kansas City, it's a totally different atmosphere. Kansas City is a very friendly pitcher's park, not so on the road.
Last 3 road starts at Houston, at Chicago, at Cleveland against good hitting teams and good hitting ballparks. He's had to pitch around a lot of base runners, 31 of them in those last 3 starts. We told you about the 5 walks in his last start.
Donaldson gets hit by a pitch, and he doesn't like that too much. And Donaldson has something to say to Volquez. And now everybody converging, but Donaldson's been red hot. He's had 7 RBIs in this series, and he's been very comfortable at the plate. And it looks as though there has been a warning put in place by the home plate umpire, which I don't agree with at all.
Well, Kansas City's been hit 3 times, I believe, in this series, and Donaldson's been hot, so I understand that. Might be a little bit too high for me, you know, from the waist down. If you're going to do it, Donaldson doesn't appreciate it, and he heads up to first base and has something to say to Volquez. Now, Volquez comes off the mound and then starts walking to him, which is very interesting, and there's the warning right there to both clubs from home plate umpire Jim Wolf.
Kansas City's had a couple of dust-ups this season, one with Oakland, one with the White Sox. Volquez was actively involved in the bench-clearing brawl against the White Sox. But you're right, Kansas City has been hit more than anybody in the American League this year. Jose Bautista, a 3-hit game yesterday. Breaking ball backs up and catches the inside corner. One thing about this Blue Jays team, you better be careful about rattling their cage. They are a very tight-knit group.
Yeah, one of their guys, they feel like he's getting thrown at, they're going to defend him, and the best way to defend him, put some earned runs on the board.
Bautista with a home run cut. Looked like another breaking ball that may have backed up inside.
Teams have been throwing breaking balls to Jose. He's had some trouble in the last couple of months hitting that breaking ball. The base hit that he had yesterday and the home run that he had, first 2 hits against the breaking ball since June 1st.
Bautista and Donaldson have combined to drive in 145 runs. And they have had 86 ribbies here at Rogers Center between them. Broken back. Cuthbert at third, goes to second for one, back to first. Double play. We've played an inning and we've already had some fireworks. A scoreless game after one.
Proficient knuckleball over the last four starts, with batters swinging and missing more now than in his first 17 starts. And what he has done, he's made a handful of mechanical adjustments, one of which is he's shortening his stride on the mound so that he's quicker to the plate. Pitching coach Pete Walker told me that over his last 7 starts, Dickey has got himself into a groove. He's consistently going deep into ball games, and that's because the knuckleball has been giving him the action that he wants. Now, of course, there are going to be those days where that knuckleball is a little finicky, but Buck, from a delivery standpoint, R.A. Dickey is in a very good place.
Thrown the ball very well of late, and Dickey's worked hard to refine his delivery. Kendrys Morales bounces one to first. Colabella will step on the bag. One pitch, one out here in the second.
Hey, nobody works harder, I think, than R.A. Dickey in trying to refine his mechanics. He's always throwing on flat ground. He'll go down to the mound during his sessions in between starts and work on things. Whole idea is just make sure that hand stays behind the baseball and it comes out consistently. And he has done that over his last 10 or so starts.
Sal Perez, the catcher. Perez batting .246 for the season, but he's hit 15 home runs. Good production from behind the plate. He's 2 for 10 in this series, and he's a free swinger. Dickey jumps ahead 0-2. Kansas City snapped a 3-game losing streak with their win yesterday. And Perez strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Dickey.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
Final time these two ball clubs will play this season on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon here in Toronto. This is the former Blue Jay, Alex Rios.
Let's hope, Buck, that it's not the last time we see Kansas City, if you know what I mean.
That's what the coaches for the Royals talked about. Hey, maybe we'll see you in October. Wouldn't that be sweet? I know it'd be special for you and I. We both played for both of these organizations, and they've had a history, of course. In 1985, the Royals knocked the Blue Jays out of the American League Championship Series. So fly ball into center. Pilar has got it. R.A. Dickey with a quick inning. Second inning, 3 up, 3 down.
1985 AL East Division Championship. The first 20,000 fans will receive the alumni bobblehead. That's Sunday, August 16th, when your Blue Jays take on the AL East leading New York Yankees. That's a 1:07 start. For more information, call 416-341-1234 or visit BlueJays.com. Buck.
Great-looking bobblehead, George Bell, Lloyd Mosby, and Jesse Barfield. The first division championship for the organization, 1985, and they played the Kansas City Royals. And it was the first year they switched from a 5-game championship series to a 7-game championship series. And that really made me mad.
Well, the difference is you guys were up 3-1.
Yeah.
Should have won the series, but Kansas City stormed back, right?
Yeah, they did. George Brett made sure of that.
Yeah. Too many big hits. That was the team that still holds the record for the best regular season, right? 1-loss record for the Blue Jays. They won 99 games.
Yeah. It was a great rivalry for a number of years. Edwin Encarnacion. Edwin had a hit in 3 at-bats. He also walked yesterday. Edwin's hit a home run against Edinson Volquez. It came in that game at San Diego in June of 2013. Home runs have been a problem when Volquez pitches against the Blue Jays. That's a little chopper. This has got a chance to be an infield hit. No play for Cuthbert. Encarnacion reaches to start the inning.
Infield hit for Edwin Encarnacion, the Blue Jays first. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Edinson Volquez of the Kansas City Royals. Basically, he's a 3-pitch pitcher. Fastball, and then the changeup and the curveball. If you add the 2 breaking ball pitches together, he's 50-50. Fastball, breaking ball. You're going to look for one of them. The curveball's pretty good. He has had success against that this year. They've hit 186. The changeup is outstanding. He'll throw that at any time. It's got a lot of movement on it. Batters have only hit 171 against it this season.
Chris Colabello playing at first base today, making his 15th start at first base. Colabello had a base hit as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning. In yesterday's game, came off the bench and hit for Ryan Goins and drove a ball into right for a base hit. Colabello always likes to get early resolutions to his at bat. He hits well first or second pitch of an at bat. He's up there looking for a good pitch to hit. That's bounced foul. Volquez signed as a free agent, as Pat mentioned. He signed a 2-year contract plus an option for a 3rd year. And if you go back to last June, Volquez is 19-6 with a very good ERA, 2.58 over that time period. And his winning percentage at .760 is second in the majors to that left-hander out in Los Angeles named Clayton Kershaw.
I thought the Kansas City Royals did a heck of a job of signing guys in the offseason that were under the radar. You know, everybody, that ball is fouled off the foot of Colabello. Everybody heard about the big signings of Max Scherzer, the $210 million, and John Lester of the Chicago Cubs. Where the Kansas City Royals, I thought, were very quiet, but had a lot of keen baseball decision-like moves in the offseason. Kendrys Morales, everybody talked about that. Alex Rios. This one right here, Edinson Volquez. How about Medlin out in that bullpen? Ryan Matson. I mean, under the radar type of signings.
Dayton Moore is in his 9th season as the GM of the Royals, and he's made some very good moves. Colabello caught looking at strike 3, and you can see it looked like he was over the outer half of the plate. First strikeout for Volquez.
Looked like a breaking ball from Volquez. And it catches the plate. Sal Perez, the big catcher behind home plate, holds it there for Jim Wolf. First strikeout of the afternoon.
This is Russell Martin. Martin, the catcher. Yanner Navarro was catching the game yesterday with Burley on the mound. Martin got the day off. We told you Jim Wolf is a pitcher's umpire. He is consistent. He has a liberal strike zone. Russell riding a mini 5-game hit streak, hitting over 300 during that time. 3 doubles, a home run.
He's using the whole field. That's what he's doing. I was looking at some of his splits today. His home runs, 6 have gone to left, 5 to center, and 4 to right. So he's powering the ball to all fields.
Kansas City Royals defense reflects that fact that Martin is using the whole field. The outfield is playing him around toward right. Kane, the center fielder, on the right field side of center. Martin's got power. He can hit it out to right. We saw that firsthand in Oakland. Volquez, like Johnny Cueto, is a guy that can reach back for a little extra. Feels like he needs to jam a hitter. He'll get it up to 95. Volquez and Cueto were teammates for a year in Cincinnati. 2-1, 1 out. Not close. Now 3-1.
I think he does a good job of introducing his changeup into what he is doing. You saw he throws it almost a quarter of the time. 24% of the time he is going to use that changeup. I mean, he might take something off right here. 3-1 BP type of fastball. Maybe the hitter gets a little excited, rolls over on it.
Encarnacion at first. Martin hits it up the middle. That's a base hit. Encarnacion is making the turn. He's going to challenge Kane's arm, and he'll make it. Well, good base running by Edwin. That ball slows down on this turf. Doesn't have the same velocity we've seen on the older version of this artificial surface, and Edwin took advantage of it.
You know, if you're a runner on the bases, the last thing you check is where's that center fielder playing? And he noticed that the center fielder was playing towards right center field, so he's got a long way to go, Kane, to get this ball. Couple that with the fact that that ball slows down like you were just talking about, Buck, and that's going to allow Edwin Encarnacion to go first to third. He's looking at this play. It's right in front of him. And he makes it to third without even a throw.
1 out. Base running is key in these tight ball games, and Encarnacion puts the pressure on Kansas City's defense. Martin at first with the single. Kevin Pillar, number 7 in the lineup. Goes after the first pitch. This is popped up and playable for Hosmer. He makes the catch, and that's going to be too shallow for Encarnacion. Pillar is out on the first pitch. Hosmer had plenty of room and had the ability to get that ball out of the sun, played it off to the side, and makes the catch.
He's got a great arm. He's probably going to win the Gold Glove again over there at first base in the American League.
Second baseman Ryan Goins in the 8th spot. Now he'll try to pick up his teammate Pillar after Pillar popped out. Goins facing Volquez for the first time. Just over 200 with runners in scoring position. Get an idea what you're dealing with before you hack. Pitch up and away. He didn't like.
Especially your first at bat. I think I'd love to get all kind of information from that pitcher my first time up. If I've never faced him before, I want to see what that breaking ball looks like. I want to see what that changeup looks like. Certainly want to see what his fastball looks like.
Good pitch down and away. Goins just checking with Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. Say, is that as far as it goes? Is that the outer limits of that outside corner? 2-2. Blue Jays trying to take the lead in this series for the first time. Kansas City has scored in each of the first innings of the first 3 games, and the Blue Jays have always played from behind. Ben Revere batting in the 9th spot. He was the leadoff man in yesterday's game, his first game with the Blue Jays. Protecting that strike zone as Goins took a chop swing at him and was able to stay alive.
Pretty filthy stuff from Edson Volquez. When you talk about the fastball, that pitch before that last one was 96 up and away, and then he drops that changeup on you. And you got to really concentrate, really bear down against a guy like this.
Catches the line drive. That'll end the inning. Owens hit it hard, but right to the first baseman. The Blue Jays is strand a pair. Volquez pitches out of a 1st and 3rd 1-out situation. He got a nice play at first by Hosmer. No telling what the Blue Jays do if that goes down in the corner. We're scoreless as we head to the 3rd.
Tomorrow, not just because it's a civic holiday, but because Monday you will see the Blue Jays debut of David Price. We will set the table for you on Blue Jays Central at 12:30 Eastern. Don't you dare miss it. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. David Price is 9-4 for the season. He's got a .253 earned run average against his opponent tomorrow, the Minnesota Twins. 8-3 for his career, so you can bet it's going to be a packed house tomorrow to see the new starter for the Blue Jays. They're going to run him out there and make his first start in a Blue Jay uniform. Scoreless game. We are in the 3rd. R.A. Dickey matching up against Edson Volquez. Dickey gave up a leadoff single to Alcides Escobar, a little bloop single into right field, and that's been it. Cheslor Cuthbert starting at 3rd base. Mike Moustakas, the regular 3rd baseman, did not start in yesterday's game as well. This is an important batter for Dickey to retire him to start the 3rd. And he does. It's important because Omar Infante is next. And Dickey strikes out Cuthbert.
His numbers are off the chart. That's at least 1 strikeout in every inning so far today for R.A. Yeah, get that first guy out, make things a little bit easier on yourself, especially a guy like Infante with that controlled swing.
You have a little more freedom with Infante at the plate and 1 out than you might have if there were a runner on. Infante for his career 17 for 34 against Dickey, and even .500. So Dickey crosses him up and throws him a heater.
Fastball right on the corner. Get in his head right there.
Infante has more hits against Dickey than anybody in baseball. 17 hits against Dickey. The next highest total, 13 hits by Jason Worth of the Nationals. Raul Ibanez is third. He has 12, and he is, of course, retired. This time Dickey will win this back. 2 outs. R.A. Dickey has pitched very well recently here at Rogers Center, and overall he's always pitched well in this ballpark.
Yeah, he certainly has, and this is a very difficult ballpark to pitch in. Ball really carries here, but he has done a good job. Last 5 home starts, the ERA is under 2, and he's only given up 2 home runs. I think that's the key right there, that he has not given up the home runs. He hasn't given up any home runs in 3 straight games, the first time since 2013.
R.A. Dickey is 22-15 pitching here at Rogers Center. The home runs have been a problem. He's allowed 53 home runs in 51 career games here. But overall, he has had a winning record. Alcides Escobar is a free swinger. He had a 0-2 bloop single into right his first time up. Strikeout. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 4 for the game. And as we mentioned, R.A. Dickey is on a roll. This may have been a fastball. He surprises Escobar and strikes him out. Ben Revere will lead things off when we come back.
Blue Jays in giving our Sunday salute to Captain Patrick Levesque, who joined the Canadian Armed Forces Reserves in 1991. In 2000, he transferred from the reserves and commenced regimental duty in Valcartier, Quebec. His initial employment included a tour of duty in Afghanistan and a number of staff positions. He deployed as reconnaissance and sniper platoon commander to Kandahar in 2010. We are so very proud to salute all the brave men and women of the Canadian Forces who serve our country every day.
Congratulations, Captain Levesque. Mark Burley, as he always does on Sundays, presenting Captain Levesque with his Blue Jays jersey. Ben Revere batting in the 9th spot this afternoon. He was the leadoff man yesterday with Tulowitzki out of the lineup. Revere went 0 for 5. Hits this ball into center field. Long run, and Rios is going to get there. Kane had to jump out of the way right at the last minute to avoid the collision. That was a little looper in between the center fielder and right fielder, and we told you they had a good defense. This outfield can run them down.
Yeah, they certainly can. It hung out there just a little bit too long. Kane and then Rios, if he misses this, as you see Lorenzo get out of the way and they collide just a little bit, that's an inside the park home run. And again, with the sun, you have to communicate it. You can see Rios communicated right at the end, and Kane got out of the way.
One out for Volquez. Scoreless game, bottom of the third. Troy Tulowitzki lined out to left his first time up. Tulowitzki now 3 for 13 against Volquez.
Thought he had a pretty good at bat. That first at bat against Volquez, it was a long one. He made him work, and then he hit one hard right at Zobrist, the left fielder. Tulowitzki looks like he's locked in.
That slider off the plate. Tulowitzki, we mentioned he had a great at bat yesterday. He had a 10-pitch walk yesterday against the closer Greg Holland, and obviously it was a big at bat. He reached with one out, and then Colabella would single, but the Blue Jays would fall short and lose 7-6. 2 hopper to the third baseman, Cuthbert. 2 down.
See what just happened right there? You know, this is where a catcher is into the game, where he knows what he wants to do. Watch the catcher, Sal Perez. He tells his third baseman, hey, move over just a little bit. We're going to come inside. Chances are that ball's going to come down there. He throws that sinker down and in, and where does he hit it? Right to where he is standing. Watch him move. Watch, he's taking a look at there. He sees Perez say, hey, move over just a little bit. He moves over, ground ball, and it's right at him. That's team defense.
Very good pickup right there, and that's how you communicate. And I think Perez was very obvious in what he was doing. The guy on deck can pick up on that and then let the batter know that they're coming inside. But that time it worked.
You know, that's why that catcher, I mean, it's so important to have a good catcher. Now he's into the game, he's calling the game, he can look out, he can see the defense, he has a feel for what that pitcher is trying to do. Back in the olden days, catchers moved infielders all the time.
There's another pitch up and in, and Donaldson just stumbled toward the mound. Perez came out quickly. And now John Gibbons is out to say, wait a minute, you put a warning in, and now Volquez throws one up and in, and you're going to leave him in the game? That's what Gibbons is going to argue right now. And Jim Wolf is saying, I don't think it was intentional. And Gibbons said, hey, man, you put the warning in the first inning. He threw one up and in on my slugger, and you're going to leave him in the game? That's why Gibbons is out of the dugout.
You put the warning in if you're the umpire, then it's up to him to determine if he thinks he's thrown at him. He obviously didn't think so. Josh Donaldson did.
In game 1, Kane and Tulowitzki both were hit by pitches. Here's the pitch from Volquez, and that's very suspicious. And Donaldson just falls out of the way and kind of stumbles toward the mound. Sal Perez intervening. 1-1, 2 outs. In game 1, we mentioned Kane and Tulowitzki both were hit by pitches. In game 3, Kane got hit by Burley. Moustakas got hit by Hendricks, and then Donaldson got hit here in the first inning. Donaldson wants to hit 600 feet.
He certainly does. I mean, you're defenseless at that plate except hitting a home run. When a guy's drilling you up and in, there's really nothing you can do except try and hurt him. Try and go deep, try and hit an extra base hit, whatever. And Josh, that's another reason why they do that, to try and get him out of his game just a little bit.
2-2 now. It's a scoreless game. Three and 2. Bautista would be next if Donaldson can reach. Perez reminding Volquez, don't overthrow this pitch. Donaldson's going to regroup.
I'll tell you what, I love the intensity between these two teams right now. We've been telling you it feels like a playoff game in a playoff series. Well, it just got ramped up a little bit more. Ball 4.
Lots going on in this ball game. Volquez walks Donaldson. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Daniel Norris making his Tiger debut. I think most people will give up Daniel Norris for David Price.
A chance for Price the last couple of months and maybe beyond.
Jose Bautista hit into a double play his first time up. Boy, he had a good rip. Well, I tell you what, when you start seeing beanballs going back and forth, the intensity and the focus of both ball clubs really gets keen. Remember, the Royals, they've earned a certain amount of swagger. They won the American League Championship and went to the World Series last year. Bautista bounces it to third. Cuthbert makes a nice play and throws him out. Good play at third base by Cheslor Cuthbert, filling in for Mike Moustakas. We've played 3. A very interesting start to this game.
White Sox at 4 p.m. Eastern. Alex Rodriguez and the Bronx Bombers head to the south side to face Jose Abreu and the White Sox. This game will be joined in progress right here on Sportsnet.
Well, it's too bad that the Royals and Blue Jays won't have any more games to play after this one, because this looks like it's going to get interesting. Ben Zobrist, he popped out to the shortstop his first time up. You mentioned Zobrist standing in the back of the batter's box, and he's trying to get as long a look as he can, tracking this knuckleball.
Yeah, he's had his problems with R.A. Dickey in the past. He's tried all kind of things, and when we talk to him, he says, I'm going to tinker until I find a way to hit Dickey. Well, this time, look how deep he is in that batter's box. That foot is almost standing outside. And it's an interesting difference from what we're going to see from Eric Hosmer. Contrast.
Yeah. As long as you make contact with any part of that back line, you are in the batter's box. You don't have to stand in front of it. If you make contact with the back edge of that batter's box, you are still considered in their batter's box.
And you're fine. And he wants to play it that way, stay deep so he can track that ball as long as possible. The flip side of that is move up towards the pitcher to catch it before it breaks.
Now there are all sorts of different theories. Ball four. Zobrist takes the leadoff walk, first walk issued by Dickey this afternoon. That's another thing he's really improved on. As the season's gone on, he's really cut down the number of walks. So man is aboard. It's a scoreless game. We're in the fourth. Lorenzo Cain struck out on a 3-2 pitch his first time up. Dickey comes back with a strike. Cain didn't think so. Well, Jim Wolf, he just told you what he thinks of the Royals bench.
Yeah,
that's enough.
Neither did the bench like it either.
Everybody's in a playoff mood today.
Even the umpires.
Zobrist, he will run. He hasn't run as much this year, but we've seen it in the past. He picks his spots very effectively.
Yeah, he was playing for Oakland until he got traded to Kansas City, and they don't run a whole lot either.
It is August 2nd, and by the temperament of the baseball players and the umpires, it would remind you that the dog days of August are here. Second half of the season into games number 50, and every game is important. Every game is significant. You can see movement up and down in the standings. Start of play today. The Royals have an 8-game lead over Minnesota in the Central. Toronto 6 back in the East. And everybody's thinking about the postseason.
Yeah, this is where you make your move right here. I think if you have any thoughts of getting into the playoffs, you want to get some momentum. You want to start rolling into September.
Now you look at the wild card race, and we showed that earlier. Los Angeles, Minnesota have the first 2 wild card spots secure at the moment. Baltimore is a game out. Toronto 2 games back. The White Sox are right there, 3.5 back. And if you look, Tampa Bay, Texas, and Detroit all within 4.5 games of the second wild card spot. Up and in. And that's why everybody is making moves. Minnesota will be here tomorrow to start a 4-game series. It'll be an afternoon start, and you see the wild card standings. The Angels recently have fallen on hard times. They've won 2 of their last 10 and lost 5 straight. Houston handled them very effectively, and Houston has stretched their lead to 3 games over the Angels.
8 teams for 2 spots, separated by 4.5 games, basically. So right now it's time to get hot if you want to get to the playoffs.
Cain fouls it back. I think that's the one thing that Bud Selig will always be remembered for, is increasing the number of teams eligible for the postseason. It's created so much stir at the July 31st deadline, at the August 31st deadline. There are going to be teams fighting for their lives the last couple of weeks of September.
And all you want to do is get in, because you never know what could happen. How about what the Royals did last year as a wild card team?
Russell Martin hangs on to the foul tip, and Cain strikes out. 5 strikeouts for Dickey.
A hard knuckleball right here as he throws this one with side spin. Gets the movement that he needs, and it's held on by Russell. Second time that Cain has struck out.
Well, the Royals made it into the wild card game, and they faced Josh Donaldson's Oakland A's. Kansas City was down by 4 runs late in that game and came back to win it in 12 innings. You certainly don't want to play for the wild card spot. You want to play for the division.
Yeah. That one game can be nerve-wracking. Kansas City got that game at home and came back and won it. Took it all the way to the 7th game of the World Series.
This is Eric Hosmer. Hits a fly ball into shallow left. Ben Revere gets there quickly and makes the catch. Hosmer's 0 for 2 to start the day. Well, what has changed for the Blue Jays as far as that wild card berth? They got David Price. So if you have to play one game and you have one starter to set up for that game, you can bet it'll be David Price. But they would just as soon play themselves into a 5-game series, a division series that allows you to play
Certainly.
5 games.
Didn't David Price pitch for Tampa versus Texas for one game and beat them?
Yeah, he's been in the postseason before. He's got a 1-5 record in the postseason. But he is a student of the game and loves the competition. He says Kendrys Morales. We talk about Morales and Donaldson both having great series. Morales has 5 ribbies in the series. Donaldson has 7. And they are currently first and second in the American League in the RBI race. Popped up. Colabella will give it a look, but it's well out of play into the seats. Nolan Arenado of the Colorado Rockies has 80 ribbies. Paul Goldschmidt of the Diamondbacks has 77. They're first and second in the majors in RBIs. Two and one. Upstairs. Donaldson has 75. Morales 73. He's tied with Mark Teixeira of the Yankees. Then Chris Davis has jumped up to 71, and Bautista has 70. Those are the top 5 in the American League as we speak.
And we talked about that in the opening. You have to have the opportunities first and foremost, and Kendrys Morales has had a lot of opportunities with men on base. 214 runners coming into this game, men on base, 150 of them in scoring position. He's hit 348. That's how he has accumulated a lot of those RBIs.
Right here he'll take ball 4. A 2-out walk issued by Dickey. First 2 walks of the ball game coming here in the 4th. So now Zobrist will move into scoring position. First time the Royals have had a runner in scoring position. Sal Perez, he's a free swinger. Hitters by now must know that it's a liberal strike zone. You can't be surprised. Wolf has called those borderline pitches strikes all afternoon. Dickey's ahead 0-2. Zobrist walked. He's at second. Morales took a walk with 2 outs. He's at first. Popped into the seats.
Well, he'll go after that high knuckleball, won't he? He's trying to keep that at bat alive. But if Ari has the ability to spot that ball, and he says he does, he can make the ball do this or that or try and throw it off the plate. Now's the time to do it. Free swinger, like you said.
Another pop back out of play. The Royals are one of the best teams in baseball, delivering 2-out hits. We mentioned that early on. Came into this series batting over 280 with 2 outs in an inning. Perez with 2 outs this season with runners in scoring position, hitting .367. A pair of walks on the bases. Dickey through 4 innings has allowed just 1 hit. This strikeout of Perez is his 6th of the afternoon.
Presented by the 2015 Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful long weekend here in Toronto. The Royals will wrap up their season series. This is the 4th and final game of this series against Kansas City. Minnesota will be in town starting tomorrow afternoon for a 4-game series. These two teams have split the first 6 games of their season series. This is for the series of season bragging rights. Encarnacion, Edwin had an infield hit his first time up. This time he rips one to center. Hit that hanging breaker ball right back over the mound. Leadoff single is checking with Jamie Campbell. Daniel Norris in his Tigers debut has pitched 2 innings, allowed 1 hit, walked a batter, and struck out 2 so far. And the interesting number out of his outing, 21 pitches through 2 innings. Pretty efficient.
That's much better.
Chris Colabello was a strikeout victim his first time up. He goes after the first pitch. A little bit of a rough patch for Colabello over his last 14 games. First time we've really seen him struggle offensively.
A little bit more information out there for him. Pitchers pitching him a little bit tougher. Playing against the right-handers, what he does is he sprays the ball all over the place. Came up yesterday as a pinch hitter and hit a ball to right field, which is always a good sign.
There's a big alley in the gap between Kane and Rios in right center. If he hits it over the second baseman's head on the line, Encarnacion will have a chance to score if he drives it to the wall.
Remember the last time, well, that was Martin was at the plate where Encarnacion went first to third. Now if he hits a ball to right field like that, he can read it again and try and go first to third.
Good eye, takes that breaking ball down. It's 2-1. Edinson Volquez for the Royals, 10-5 this season. Backs up a very solid season a year ago with Pittsburgh, 13-7. Colabello tried to check and goes around, according to Toby Basner down at first base.
Like he was geared for the fastball, but then it started riding up high, and they call that a swing that he went around. He got to make an attempt at it. Colabello has been a very consistent hitter for the Blue Jays this year. Remember, he had that 18-game hit streak.
Catcher Martin on deck behind Colabello. Colabello has really been a pleasant surprise. He's maintained his good approach throughout his tenure here with the Blue Jays. He didn't come up until the first week of May. Spent the first month of his season in AAA. There's a deep drive to left center. Get up, ball, get up, and gone! Two-run home run for Colabello, his 10th of the season.
Couple of fastballs on the inner half. I think he felt like he should have hit, and he just fouled them off. Struck out looking his first time up, said, I'm not going to miss another fastball, and he didn't that time. That distinctive sound that you hear when the bat meets the ball on a home run.
Colabello cashing in with 2 strikes. That has been a problem for Volquez in his games against the Blue Jays.
Giving up 2-strike hits. This ball deep to left center field. For the 10th time, he can touch them all. He has hit a couple home runs to right. He's hit 4 to left, and I think this is his 4th. I don't know, it's left center field, maybe a little bit closer towards center field, but that ball, he got through that one. Up and in.
With that home run, Colabello has 10 home runs on the season. That gives the Blue Jays 5 hitters with 10 or more home runs in their lineup. Martin strikes out on the off-speed pitch. Chris Colabello, RBIs number 40 and 41 for the season, has staked R.A. Dickey to a 2-0 lead.
You know, some talk yesterday from John Givens and Alex Anthopoulos when they had to make a roster change. Danny Valencia, Chris Colabello. It was Colabello who they wanted to keep because he can hit.
Colabello is a much better hitter, and he has more power than Valencia. Kevin Pillar behind 0-2. Pillar popped out to the first baseman back in the second inning. Ground ball to short. Escobar scoops it up. Across the diamond. 2 down. Ryan Goins, the second baseman. Goins lined out to Eric Hosmer with a couple aboard to end the second.
A little bit more solid contact from Goins since he's been playing every day. He's made some changes to his batting stance. He's going to rest that bat on his shoulder. There are the numbers through the last 12 games: double 3 RBIs and 3 walks. And as the pitcher starts to wind up, he just wants to take his hands back towards the umpire. All in one motion. Blue Jays felt like he was getting a little bit too underneath the ball. He used to start with high hands, and a lot of times he'd drop that back shoulder and get underneath the baseball. From this angle right here, he's going to start on his shoulder, take his hands back towards the umpire, and just cruise into that baseball.
Now it's 2-2. Edinson Volquez making his 6th career start against the Blue Jays. He's 0-3. And the Colabello home run is the 6th home run the Blue Jays have hit off of Volquez. You know, you'd like to think that your ball club is always focused 100% on winning each and every game. And that would be a perfect world. But I'll tell you what, since Alex Anthopoulos has rebuilt this team, they are doing exactly that. Everybody on that bench, to a man, they're on the bench. They're not going back up the clubhouse. Everybody is engaged. There's a lot of conversation about what's going on in the game. Newcomers have fit right in with the holdovers.
You're running out of time. You're under 60 to play. It's time to get it together. You can see the bench filled up right now and all those eyes on the playing field. You know, when you get a lot of new players on a team, you got to sit next to the guys and they'll give you scouting reports and they'll tell you about how this guy pitches this guy and what they try to do here. And a lot of communication has to go on.
Owens takes ball 4. He works Volquez for the walk. So Ben Revere will come up in the face Volquez for a 2nd time. Revere hit that little dying quail out in between Kane and Rios in right center, where Rios made a fine running catch. If that drops, Revere is off to the races. Revere grew up in the Minnesota Twins organization, and he had a lot of conversations with the great Rod Carew. He said, listen, you're a little guy. You're not going to be a power hitter. Just be a tough out. Use the whole field.
Don't hit the ball in the air because you're not going to hit the home runs. You can drive the ball into the outfield. Don't hit it in the air. One thing Ben was talking about yesterday that Carew taught him is keep those hands inside the baseball. And what that'll do is that'll keep your bat on line and you'll hit more line drives. Something that he has done a pretty good job of over the last couple of seasons.
Line into the seats over the Blue Jays dugout. Well, to his credit, Ben Revere sat down and listened intently to Rod Carew. Oftentimes you'll hear of a young player kind of sloughing off any kind of instruction, say, you know what, that's good for you, but I got my own approach. Not Ben Revere.
Yeah, that's how you did it back in the day. No.
Now, back in the day, Rod Carew hit himself into the Hall of Fame.
Baseball is still baseball, right? Doesn't change.
1-2, 2 outs. Revere bounces it to first. That's a fair ball. That'll end the inning. But the Blue Jays, on the 2-run home run by Chris Colabello, have taken a 2-0 lead. We'll head to the 5th. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn.
August 15th, the Blue Jays host the Yankees at 1:07 Eastern. Join us pregame outside Gate 10 for inflatables, activities, and lots of fun. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like Buck Martinez and Pat Tabler did back in the day. For more information, call 416-341-1234 or visit BlueJays.com. Buck.
Hazel, I hope they run a lot faster than I did.
Mark that.
The Blue Jays and R.A. Dickey have a 2-0 lead. This is Alex Rios with a pitch upstairs. It's 1-1 to the right fielder. Dickey, we had mentioned how well he's throwing of late, and he has done that again today. He's allowed just one hit, and that was to the leadoff batter in this ball game, and it was a bloop single to right.
Working on 3 days rest. R.A.
There's a drive to center. Pilar is there. Rios is retired, one down. You mentioned the 3 days rest, and R.A. Dickey has been pushed up so David Price could get a little more comfortable in his new surroundings. So Dickey moved up. He was scheduled to start tomorrow, and you can see historically he has not pitched well on 3 days rest.
Yeah, the numbers do not suggest that he will be able to pitch well, but today he's in a groove against Kansas City. ERA over 7.
Again, I think this is a product of all of the activity and the energy that has been generated by the moves Alex Anthopoulos has made. Bringing in David Price. Mark Burley was quoted in an article in the newspaper. He was pitching the game yesterday, and he was sitting on the dugout bench. He goes, "Is that David Price standing in front of me? And is that Troy Tulowitzki?" It's almost as if even the veteran Burley can't believe the quality of the players that was acquired this past week.
Well, it just gives everybody, I think, energy. You come to the ballpark, you can't wait to get to the ballpark and see if you can win that day. Everybody's fired up with one goal in mind: win.
David Price will make his debut as a Blue Jay, and it all starts tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. That's Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zorn. Here's a pop into right. Bautista coming in a couple of steps. 2 up, 2 down in the 5th.
Make your renovation a cut above during the DIY Expert Sale. Only at Home Building Center and Home Hardware Building Center.
On the shores of Lake Ontario, it is a spectacular Sunday in the middle of this long weekend. Lots of people out and about, and a lot of people have made their way to Rogers Center. It looks like a full house here today as they are stacked to the rafters. Omar Infante with the ball on the strike. The anticipation for the Price start tomorrow has resulted in a sold-out crowd for tomorrow afternoon's game. So you better turn on your television so you can see David Price pitch tomorrow in his first game as a Blue Jay. Price will be matched up against Irvin Santana for the Twins. Santana 6-6 for his career against the Blue Jays. Ground ball up the middle. Tulowitzki from short. What a play! That looked like a hit all the way, but Tulowitzki cut in front of Ryan Goins, and he made a fine off-balance throw to end the inning. Omar Infante making a bid, denied by Tulowitzki. This ball looks like it's going to sneak through into the outfield, but Tulowitzki cuts behind Goins and throws to first to end the inning. He does it with the bat, and he does it with the glove.
The comfort zone, enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD comfort zone, are special guests of TD, so we want to welcome all those fans who are enjoying a glorious day here at Rogers Center and a 2-0 Blue Jays lead. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. It is a spectacular day for baseball, and the fans are energized just like the players. Tulowitzki, Donaldson, and Bautista, and that's about as good as it gets. We have had this ongoing conversation about the merits of putting Tulowitzki in the leadoff spot, and it's a great discussion. Over the course of a year, the #1 spot in the order will bat about 55 to 60 more times than the #3 hitter. I spoke to the Kansas City coaches this morning about this, and they said we're of the mind that we want our best 5 hitters to come to the plate to start the game. Get them up to the plate as often as you can. And I'm a traditional baseball guy, and I'm an old school guy, but I'm starting to come around to this mindset.
I have. I have gone to it. This is where I want to see Troy Tulowitzki hit, right here.
You put your best hitters top of the order. Just start them out there and stretch them out as long as you can. You put the pitcher in a spot early on.
Connor, are the days of those traditional leadoff hitters, right? The guys who work the count and steal bases, because you don't bunt anymore. You don't really steal bases anymore. You hit.
Yeah, it's a totally different game right now. There aren't too many Willie Wilsons around. There are no Ron Hunts, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No Ralph Gars. That traditional guy that walks in, takes pitches, and gets on base and steals. He's gone.
Vince Coleman, Ricky Henderson, where are they in the game right now? You know, there might be a few here and there.
2-2 pitch.
And
outside.
For the argument of, well, I want to see Tulowitzki come up with runners on base, he's going to come up with runners on base. In a perfect world, when Devin Travis comes back, he hits eighth, Ben Revere hits 9th. Those guys have great on-base percentage. They're fast. They're always on base. They're going to be on base for this guy.
And Kevin Pillar will hit 7th. Yeah, that's a pretty good bottom third of your batting order.
And he will come up with guys on base, and he'll get that extra at bat in the game.
3-2. In the dirt, ball 4. Tulowitzki will reach. Third walk issued by Volquez. Josh Donaldson has had 2 interesting at-bats going back to the first.
First inning, up and in from Volquez. He drills him. I think he's sending a message to him right there. Both benches get warned, and then in the 3rd inning, up and in once again. This one does not hit Donaldson, but Donaldson has something to say to Volquez. Hey, man, what's up? Best way to get back at a pitcher like that is hit him, and hit him hard.
Donaldson on base twice. He walked in the 3rd. .95. That might have been the best fastball Volquez has thrown today.
I'll tell you, he's fired up for some reason against Josh Donaldson. Donaldson has come up with a lot of big hits for the Blue Jays in this series so far against the Royals, and it was Donaldson's team, the A's, who were beat last year by Kansas City.
A mighty cut by Donaldson. This is the first time Donaldson has faced Volquez today.
He was sick when these two teams played each other that Sunday right before the All-Star break when Volquez pitched. Josh was out of the lineup with that flu-like symptom.
Way outside. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead on the strength of Chris Colavello's 10th home run of the season. It was a 2-run homer in the 4th. The 6th home run the Blue Jays have hit against Edinson Volquez. This is his 6th career start against the Jays. Colabello with the home run today. Go all the way back to 2008. Scott Rowland, Jose Molina, Edwin Encarnacion, Melky Cabrera, and Colby Rasmus. Now Colabello with home runs against Volquez. Boy, Donaldson, he has got tremendous discipline at the plate. Pat, how much does it mean to a hitter to know that you're not the man in the lineup? You don't have to chase borderline pitches because you got protection like this.
And you're probably going to get nibbled because of the guys behind you. I think that's important. That's why I think this lineup works so well together. There isn't just one guy who has to be the number one guy. It really works well together.
Tulowitzki at first with the walk. There he goes. Donaldson strikes out to throw to second. Not in time. Angel Hernandez waves Tulowitzki safe. That's his first stolen base attempt of the season. Gets himself into scoring position for Bautista.
Well, they picked on the right pitch. It was a changeup. Donaldson will go down swinging, and then Tulowitzki with that straight-in slide. And you can see the second baseman Infante still hasn't touched him. Stolen base.
If Infante gets to the bag and is stationary, he probably can make the tag. But because his momentum was taking him away from second, he never had the ability to stop and tag Tulowitzki. One out, Bautista now with a runner in scoring position. Volquez ratcheted up to 96.
Yeah, you mentioned that earlier in the game, that he's a lot like Johnny Cueto. If he needs 2 or 3 miles per hour more, he's got it.
That breaking ball called a strike by Wolf. The Royals were barking at Wolf for his strike zone earlier in the game, but as we said, it's been consistently liberal all afternoon. Two and one to Bautista. Jose had a 3-hit game yesterday, including a pair of home runs. It was his 26th career multi-home run game, his 24th as a Blue Jay. Two and two.
You know, you were just talking about the order and how you don't have to be the man and how it works together. I think that's why you see, or you don't see, a lot of intentional base on balls to the Blue Jay batters. Why would you walk a guy and put another guy on when you have to face another good hitter right behind him?
This is game number 106, and the Blue Jays have been given 4 intentional base on balls. Yeah, there's no one you want to pitch around to get to the next guy.
You know, I thought that they might walk Bautista after Tulowitzki stole that base with first base open, but you've got Edwin Encarnacion right behind him, and with the threat of a home run, why put another guy on base?
Chicago White Sox are Next to the Blue Jays, they have been issued 9 intentional free passes. Full count to Bautista, 1 out. Pops this one up. It's playable into foul territory as the first baseman Hosmer. And Bautista pops out, 2 down. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. A leadoff home run for Ellsbury, just his 4th of the season. Ivan Nova is on the hill for the Yankees. Edwin Encarnacion, 2 for 2. He scored a run. Off the end of the bat, it's fouled off. Blue Jays with a 2-0 lead. Edinson Volquez has allowed 2 runs on 4 hits. R.A. Dickey, no runs on 1 hit. And this is just exactly what you expected in the series finale, the way these 2 teams have gone toe-to-toe in the first 3.
Neither one of them wanting to give an inch right here. Grind them out baseball.
Popped up behind home. Perez didn't see it. Now the third baseman Cuthbert comes down from third to make the catch. That ends the inning, and we'll head to the 6th, 2-0 Blue Jays. And here come the Home Hardware cleanup crew, brought to you by Natura. Home Hardware's exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products.
Great news, Blue Jays fans. Our Summer Friday Fan Festivals presented by Bacardi are back. Friday, August 14th, the Blue Jays host the Yankees. It's a 7:07 start. Pre-game festival outside Gate 10. Gates will open for you at 4:30 Eastern. Live performance by special guest Chad Brownlee in the licensed area. For more information, please call 416-341-1234 or check in with BlueJays.com. Buck.
Hey, so there's going to be a lot of excitement around this ball club, and that Fan Friday will always be an interesting time. R.A. Dickey has been terrific here in his start this afternoon, pitching on short rest. That has not been an issue for Dickey. He's allowed just 1 hit, and that was to the batter here in the 6th, Alcides Escobar. He hit a little bloop into right field to start the ball game, and that's been it for Kansas City.
6 strikeouts through 5 innings for Dickey. That knuckleball's moving, and it is moving in the strike zone. He's been very consistent. Now, having said that, even though he is working on 3 days rest, the Blue Jays start to get a left-hander up in their bullpen.
Brett Cecil starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays.
That is just in case there are some runners on and Eric Hosmer's coming up.
Bouncing up the middle. There's Tulowitzki behind second. One down.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Lots of fans getting their new Blue Jay gear at here, the Jay shop at Rogers Center. And you got to get a Tulowitzki jersey, you got to get a Price jersey, got to get a Hawkins jersey, got to get a Lowe jersey. Lots of new jerseys you got to pick up.
Ben Revere. Another one. There's 5 of them for you.
This is Ben Zobrist. He takes a strike 1-1 to the left fielder. Ari Dickey has retired 16 of the last 18 he's faced. The only 2 reaching walks in the 4th. Zobrist and Morales both walked. Blue Jays pitching has been terrific of late. Starters have really done a nice job. The bullpen has really shaped up lately.
And it only should get better.
Zobrist lines it into the seats, well foul. But now it's time to step it up and win games. And the only thing that matters from this point forward is winning ball games. The Blue Jays are 53-52. They're 6 games back in the standings to the New York Yankees in 3rd place, a game behind Baltimore. And they're 7 back in the loss column. The Yankees have lost 45. The Blue Jays 52. Zobrist fouls it up. When you talk to Tony LaCava, the assistant GM, and to Alex Anthopoulos, the GM, they were very aware that the Blue Jays were going to play the Yankees 6 games in the next couple of weeks. And they wanted to take advantage of getting these players in here with a chance to whittle down the Yankees lead. Zobrist lines it to center, and Pillar is there. 2 down.
You know, that's a great point. Where they are on the schedule, it seems like we haven't played the Yankees forever. I think it's been May, maybe was the last time that we played the Yankees, but we'll face them 13 more times. So that's just the way that the trade deadline fell. Right before the Blue Jays were going to play the Yankees a lot of times here in the next couple of weeks.
Blue Jays will go to New York Thursday after their ball game against the Twins and play the Yankees over a 3-game series over the weekend. And then the Yankees will come right back here to Rogers Center August 14th, 15th, and 16th. The Oakland A's are here in a 3-game series before the Yankees arrive. But it's going to be interesting. 6 games with the Yankees in the next couple of weeks. And then looking further ahead to the Yankees Blue Jays, they will go to New York September 10th for a 4-game series, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then the Yankees will be here for a final time September 21st through the 23rd, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 3-night games. And if the schedule falls correctly, David Price could start 4 times against the Yankees. 0-2 to Kane. Base hit right side. He stayed on top of that knuckleball and just drove it through the infield into right. So Kane, that's his 9th hit against the Blue Jays this season. He's 9 for 23.
I feel like they've all come in this series, this big 4-game series. He stays on top of that one. Well, he's a dangerous player. He's got 19 stolen bases on top of that 300 batting average.
The Royals are down by 2. You wouldn't think he would be running in this situation with 2 outs, and Hosmer at the plate. Hosmer 0 for 2 so far. Trying to extend a personal 14-game hit streak. Mighty cut. Hosmer has really come into his own as a player going back to last year, and since the 1st of July this season, he is second to Xander Bogaerts with that .389 average.
Bogaerts at .391. He had 34 singles in the month of July, Xander Bogaerts, and then we know what Hosmer has done. Ian Kinsler right behind him. He led the American League in hits with 41.
Hosmer has had 3 hitting streaks this season of 12 games or longer. Colabello takes one away from Hosmer. Hosmer took one away from Goins. Now Colabello returns the favor. That ends the 6th. Kane had singled with 2 outs. Hosmer makes a bid for an extra base hit, denied by Colabello at first. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. The Jays lead it 2-0.
Saw this photo on Twitter of a young fan and a hastily put together David Price jersey. Well, David obviously saw this on social media and asked the Twitterverse to help him locate the boy's family. Well, here's the update for you. I talked to David this morning, and he told me that he has spoken to the boy's mother. He has their home address. He is sending not 1, but 2 Price jerseys to the family home address, one for the young boy and one for his sibling. He hopes it'll get there in time for his start Monday afternoon. And Buck, David hasn't even made his debut with the Blue Jays, and he's already a fan favorite.
Boy, he sure is, Hazel. He's a class act. There's no question about it. He understands that he can touch a lot of lives, and we saw his niece's Twitter picture after the trade was announced, and she had her Blue Jays cap on, and the statement was, wow, a whole country rooting for us. And that's how David Price has embraced his new team. Chris Colabello is responsible for the only runs in this game, a 2-run home run in the 4th. What a story Colabello's season has been. He had a good spring training, very well could have made the team, but instead of feeling sorry for himself, he went down to Buffalo, went to work, became the International League Player of the Month for April, and for that he was rewarded with the promotion to the Blue Jays. And he was a guy that got off to a good start when he first joined the Blue Jays, and there were a lot of skeptics that said, well, he'll cool off, he'll cool off. He has gotten big hit after big hit for the Blue Jays all season long.
Walk-off hits, hit the game-winning hits on the road. He has done a decent job in the field. I mean, he's not the best left fielder. He doesn't play left field a lot, but he's gone out there because they needed his bat in the lineup. He's the kind of guy that he's been told no his whole life, and he said, well, I'll show you.
He played independent baseball for 7 years. He was very disappointed on his draft day coming out of college that he didn't get an opportunity to play organized baseball. but he got a chance to play for the former Red Sox catcher Richie Gedman in independent baseball, and Gedman taught him an awful lot. One and two. Staying alive. He also had the ability to work with a fellow named Bobby Tewksbury, who was Josh Donaldson's BP pitcher during the home run contest. Tewksbury was a hitting coach that Colabello came across, and he's become a very prominent hitting coach. Donaldson has worked with him, Colabello of course, and it's just interesting how Colabello has worked hard for this opportunity. Lays off that breaking ball.
Well, he understands hitting. I mean, when you talk to him, he's on a pretty high level when it comes to understanding hitting and understanding himself as a hitter. That's where I think a lot of young players make a mistake. They don't understand the type of hitter that they are.
Two and two, nobody out. Off speed pitch, Colabello strikes out. Volquez retiring the first batter here in the sixth. His strikeout, that's his fourth. Russell Martin has singled, and he too has struck out. Volquez, 100 pitches now, and Franklin Morales took the loss here on Friday night as Donaldson got that base hit in the 11th to beat Morales and the Royals. Russell Martin looking down at the first base umpire Toby Basner, and it looked like Martin was the one who said, "Well, have him check down at first." Basner called the strike.
Yeah, they did check down there, and he said yes, so it's 0-2.
R.A. Dickey with one of his best starts of the season. 2 hits through 6 innings and no runs. LaTroy Hawkins is cranking it up down in the pen. Jordan Gibbons has a well-stocked bullpen. Russell Martin gets jammed and rolls it to short. 2 down. Volquez, the only mistake, the 2-run home run to Colabello. He's allowed just 4 hits. Encarnacion has 2. The Colabello home run, and Russell Martin has a single to center. That's it.
We've had a chance to watch Kansas City now for 4 days. I think their pitching staff doesn't get enough credit. I really do. We've seen Cueto, Volquez.
Ventura was great yesterday.
Ventura was outstanding. Danny Duffy.
Of course, they've just added Cueto, and that has certainly changed the profile of the starting staff for the Royals.
You look at the numbers, Kansas City's 3rd in the American League in ERA.
This is popped up, the shortstop Escobar backpedaling just to the edge of the outfield, and Pilar is retired. 3 up, 3 down, go the Blue Jays in the 6th. We'll head to the 7th. Another terrific ball game. Toronto leads it 2-0.
Play-by-play updates, batter hit zone charts, and real-time win percentage live during every MLB game. Access the MLB Live Tracker by clicking on any baseball game matchup on sportsnet.ca/MLB Live Tracker or through the SN app during the ball game. Buck.
Thank you, Hazel. That's great advice. And obviously, from this point forward, all the games are going to be very interesting around baseball. The Tigers are beating the Orioles 6-1. And former Blue Jay farmhand Daniel Norris started that game for Detroit. He's allowed just 3 hits and a run through 5 innings. Norris has thrown 60 pitches in 5 innings. Pretty efficient outing for the lefty. Morales, Perez, and Rios for Kansas City against Dickey. It's a ball and a strike to the Royals DH. Morales fouls it back. Dickey has held the Royals to a pair of singles. Both singles to right. That's looped to the shortstop. Morales is retired. He's 0 for 2 with a walk. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Perez goes after the first pitch, pops it into the outfield. Goins makes a nice running catch over the shoulder. He stayed with it and called for it. So that would give the heads up to Pilar and Bautista to give him some room, and he made a good catch.
Got to put a little star next to that one. Watch how he calls this out early enough that Pilar can hear him, and then Kevin takes a quick look and he runs it down. That's why Ryan Goins is in the lineup, because he can feel. And you need that type of play in the middle of your diamond because you're handling the ball all the time.
This is a terrific inner defense for the Blue Jays now with the addition of Tulowitzki. Devin Travis, the young second baseman on the DL, he's a good defender as well. He is nowhere near the poor defender we heard about. He can really pick it as well. He's got a lot of range and a strong arm, much like Ryan Goins.
And he works at it every day. He's out there, so that's why he's really upset that he is not being able to enjoy what's going on right now.
Line drive to right. Bautista is there, and what an inning for Dickey. 3 up, 3 down for Dickey in the 7th. He has really done a terrific job making the start on short rest. He's shutting down the Royals on just 2 hits.
and in true HD. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, widget, and much more. MLB.TV Premium includes a free at-bat 15 subscription. Watch baseball at home, at the office, or on the go. Season-long subscription packages are available for you. Visit BlueJays.com for more details.
Thank you very much, Hazel. R.A. Dickey sitting next to tomorrow's starter, David Price. And Dickey, what a terrific start today. Pitching on short rest to give Price an extra day to get settled into his new surroundings. Dickey has allowed 2 hits, a couple of hits, singles to right field. That's been it. New pitcher for Kansas City will be the left-hander Franklin Morales, who took the loss on Friday night, his first loss of the season.
That made his record 3-1 with a 227 earned run average, a very good whip. Just the 3rd earned run he's allowed in his last 28 appearances. That goes back to May the 27th. The only lefty out of the bullpen for the Kansas City Royals.
He's probably on to face 2 batters, Ryan Goins and Ben Revere, both lefty bats. 8-9-1 for the Jays here in the 7th. Boy, this has been a great series, and I think it's a preview of what you're going to see from the Blue Jays the rest of the way. Minnesota will be here tomorrow for a 4-game series. Remember, it's an afternoon game. Ryan Goins says, what left-hander? A leadoff single for Goins.
The 2015 Honda Civic is Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Blue Jays trying to win this series. They have a 2-1 edge. This is the rubber match of the season series. Both teams have won 6 games. Have split the 6 games. It's 3-3 as we speak. Ben Revere, the number 9 hitter. He bunts it up the third base line. It's a good bunt. Oh, what a play by Perez. Wow. Sal Perez is a big man, and he moves around very well, and that was a tricky play, but Revere does his job as he drops down the sack bunt.
Perez is listed at 6'3", 240 pounds, and look how nimble he is from behind the plate, gets rid of that mask, grabs the ball barehanded, spins all the way around, throws a strike, and then tries to go to third base in case that runner, who was sacrificed to second base, had thoughts of going to third. That's how you win the Gold Glove.
Ned Yost, he had the 2 batters for Morales, both left-handed hitters, and he gets one of them on the sac bunt. Ryan Goins is now at second. It'll be Ryan Madsen, who had a disappointing outing here on Friday night. He didn't retire a batter, gave up 3 runs on 4 hits. He will be in to face Troy Tulowitzki. Blue Jays have a 2-0 lead. into the ball game. This will be his 46th appearance. We mentioned the Blue Jays touched him up for 4 hits. It's the second time this season he's given up 4 hits in an appearance, both times to the Blue Jays.
These 4 men gave up 4 hits and 3 runs versus the Blue Jays. 37 scoreless appearances, though, out of those 40-plus appearances this season for Madsen.
Troy Tulowitzki lays out the first pitch. Tulowitzki 1 for 5 going head-to-head against Ryan Madsen. Tulo has gone 0 for 2 today with a walk. He's had a walk and a stolen base in the 5th, but was stranded at second. Blue Jays would like to add to their 2-0 lead.
Cutter off the plate. Tulowitzki had the big at-bat yesterday when he came off the bench and had a 10-pitch at-bat and a walk.
Tulowitzki singled against Madsen in the 7th inning on Friday night. Came around to score on the double by Donaldson. Madsen gave up singles to Goins. Tulowitzki doubled to Donaldson and a single to Bautista.
Oh, he'll give you something to hit. He hasn't walked a batter since June the 27th. He's going to be around the plate.
He's got a good fastball. There are a lot of big arms in this Royals bullpen. Madsen has dealt with injuries the last several seasons, and he's healthy again, and shows you just how good he can be. Tulowitzki gets a piece of it to stay alive. Tulowitzki for the season has 13 home runs. You take a look at the location of those pitches he's hit, pretty much middle.
You got a lot of sliders in there. You got a lot of fastballs in there. He's hit 1 changeup and 1 sinker for the home run. So if you make a mistake and you groove one down the middle, chances are Troy Tulowitzki is going to hit it out of the ballpark. Right now, the Blue Jays would settle for a single to right center.
Off-speed pitch, he got a piece of it right off the end of the bat. Madsen missed the entire 2012 season. He signed with the Reds, and the Reds were hopeful that he would get healthy, but he never really rebounded to a point where he could pitch. Then in 13 he signed with the Angels. Again, they rolled the dice, but he just didn't get healthy enough. He is this season. There's another hit batter, and that hit Tulowitzki in a tough spot. Right on the right hand. An inside pitch, and the fans are wondering what's going on. There's been a warning in place, and Donaldson is standing there talking with Jim Wolf and said, how many guys are going to have to get hit before you respond to the warning? Gibbons might get tossed right here in this situation. He's not pleased about this. That warning was implemented much too early in this ball game.
First inning on the first batter that got hit. Just to make a point, you might want to say something here. That one got Tulowitzki on the right hand, or the right arm, as he tried to back out of the way of that fastball. It's going to be a running fastball on the inner half. You see Tulowitzki's trying to get out of the way, and it got him on the right forearm.
Yeah, that's a better spot than down around the wrist or hand. Certainly the possibility of a significant injury much lower up around the forearm and the elbow. So Tulowitzki appears to be okay. I am not a big fan of the warning at all. Players have always been able to control the ball game themselves. Players know when something's intentional.
Sure. And I'm a fan of it when it's used properly, and I don't think that was the time for it right there.
I don't think Madsen was throwing at Tulowitzki by any means. I think Volquez was. And it was in response to 3 Royals being hit in the series. I don't think he was trying to hurt Donaldson. I think he's trying to push him off the plate early, and he hit him. So now there are runners at first and second, 1 out, and here is Josh Donaldson, who earlier today was named the Honda Player of the Month for the Blue Jays. From Madsen
with good movement. Donaldson faced Madsen a couple of days ago in that game that the Blue Jays would win in extra innings 7-6 and came up with a big base hit to right center field. Stayed on a breaking ball for Madsen.
One and two. What a terrific series it has been between these two ball clubs. Kansas City, the reigning AL champs. Now it's 2-2.
You know, the Royals are where the Blue Jays want to go. And each of them right now are sticking their chest out saying, hey, you know, I can take your best shot. I want to be the better team.
The Royals had the longest postseason drought until last year when they went to the World Series. Now the Blue Jays have the longest postseason drought. Now Donaldson hollering at Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, saying, you're going to let him take shots at me all afternoon? Around my head twice, and you're not going to do anything about it. Gibbons is going to come out to intervene. Bautista was there first to keep Donaldson into the game.
You know what? And I think if you're Jim Wolf, you got to take this. You got to take it. Gibby's protecting his players. You got to just take it. You don't throw him out of the ball game.
Jim Wolf doesn't initiate the warning in the first inning, none of this would have happened. The players would have settled it on the field. And now Donaldson obviously upset, and rightly so, when Madsen came up and in.
And now Josh Donaldson, now he has to refocus again. I mean, he was hot. Ball up and in. It's like, come on, man. That's 2 times in a row. So now as a hitter, you got to get back into focus.
And Donaldson strikes out. Madsen throws the off-speed pitch. Donaldson's giving it to Wolf, and Bautista shields him from the umpire. Let's just hope these two teams meet again. Jose Bautista. Will Bautista delivers a big hit.
You know, you were talking right at the end of the opening about Bautista coming over with some big hits and how he can carry a team by himself with the big hits. He's hitting in the spot to do that. And he comes up with a big hit for the Blue Jays. Those 2-out RBI hits make everybody look good.
What an emotional at-bat for Bautista. The Blue Jays lead it 3-0. Encarnacion can put the icing on the cake right here.
Looked like the cutter for Matson. It's up, and Jose gets enough of it and drives it over Kane's head. The center fielder, Josh Donaldson, leading the cheers after that hit.
Encarnacion 2 for 3. Volquez and Donaldson have been jabbing at each other across the diamond.
It's not even September.
It's barely even August. John Gibbons has been ejected from this game. 3rd time this season. Encarnacion strikes out. Blue Jays get an insurance run in the bottom of the 7th. Lots of emotions. Bautista delivers a big RBI double. Will go to the 8th. This is in the 7th. Ryan Madson into the game, throws one up and in on Donaldson. Donaldson was hit by Volquez in the 1st inning, and he's saying that was twice they've come up and in my head. Volquez hit him in the 1st inning. He says, hey, it's 2-0. Well, you got tears? This is baseball. Volquez saying, wait a minute, it's 2-0, man. It's a tough game.
Well, he can say that because he doesn't have to hit. It's American League, right? Josh Donaldson throwing off some sparks this afternoon.
The intensity is ratcheted up. Sanchez into the game. Blue Jays have a 3-0 lead. Sanchez got a visit from Jim Wolf to inform him that there's a warning in place. Sanchez has none of that on his mind.
Yeah, he wants to throw strikes. He's been very good since taking over at that 8th inning. Justin Smoke is in at first base. For Chris Colabello, he will hit in his spot. (8-9-1) for the Royals here.
Boy, that was a big run Bautista drove in. Now Bautista's got a shot at a fly ball to right. He's there. Sanchez one down here in the
8th. Yeah, unfortunately for the Blue Jays, they didn't catch a break. That ball bounced out of play by Bautista, or it would have scored another run. But a huge hit nonetheless.
Line to Smoke just into the game defensively. Infante hit it hard. 2 down. That's a hang with him.
Line drive right at Smoke. He's been staying there a long time. Picks it clean.
2 down. Back to the top of the order. Alcides Escobar. The Royals have 2 hits. Escobar got a hit in his first at bat this afternoon. The other hit came in the 6th, a 2-out single by Lorenzo Cain.
Like, I think they called that first pitch. You see it right down the middle. I think he called that a ball. See where that blue number 1 is?
No, you can't throw him out of the game for that. That's awful. That is awful. He's got more movement than anybody, and here come the benches.
I'll tell you, the umpires have got to take over here. Volquez is on the outside, being held by his teammates.
Volquez got into it in the White Sox bench clearing brawl. The umpires let this get out of hand with the warning in the first inning. So the umpires gaining control of this situation, and this has been tense all afternoon. And it started in the first inning when Donaldson was hit by Volquez. But Jim Wolf threw out Sanchez, and you could see he was thinking about it. He didn't do it immediately, and he walked out, got in front of home plate, and then he threw him out. The first pitch of the at-bat was right down the middle. DeMarlo Hale, the acting manager, talking about the situation. Sanchez is out of the game. And this has been created by that warning issued in the first inning. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I'm with you right now. The warning should have been towards the back end of this ball game after a couple of guys have been hit. But that created this whole situation. And they'll have to sort this one out. This is a 2-0 fastball that clips Escobar. Escobar's going to go to first base, and you can see Jim Wolf, he's thinking about it, and then he says out.
Yeah, and that's ridiculous.
And Sanchez has an argument.
He sure does. And now, Donaldson has to be pulled away. Goins is being pulled away by Bautista as this continues to escalate. And now DeMarlo Hale, they said they threw twice at Donaldson's head. And Donaldson's had a beef, and he's never done anything all afternoon. He got hit by the first pitch and then got thrown at up and in by Madsen. I don't think Madsen threw at Donaldson.
No, neither do I. Royals are on the step, and now that's going to bring them out. And I'll tell you, once the first one comes and the whole team comes charging.
Yeah, you can't be sitting on the bench as your team goes to the mound. But Donaldson and Tulowitzki standing there now as Osuna has come on with 2 outs. But the last thing that Sanchez had on his mind was hitting Escobar at the top of the order. The umpires are trying to sort out who's in and who's out. Gibbons has been ejected. There may have been other ejections during the scrum on the mound. Sanchez is out of the game. And with Sanchez being out of the game, DeMarlo Hale is out of the game as well because he's the acting manager. And when there's a pitcher in the game under a warning, the pitcher and the manager are tossed. I speak from experience on that one. So DeMarlo Hale will leave.
This happened earlier this year, didn't it, with the Blue Jays? And Tim Leeper, who has managed in the minor leagues, and Louis Rivera managed in the minor leagues, they shared that to finish off the ball game. I'm not sure when that was, but it was earlier in the season.
You're right. It happened earlier. This is Roberto Osuna.
Blue Jays going to their closer now, looking for a 4-out save right here. 6 for 7 in saves this season, a 214 earned run average. He's just had 11 walks and 52 strikeouts this year. He's going to have to go right through the middle of this Kansas City lineup.
Ben Zobrist with 2 outs and 1 on. And Osuna, as he's done all year long, throws strike 1. Sudden that strike zone is getting smaller.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the first pitch that Sanchez threw in that last at bat. You like this? How about tomorrow?
How about David Price getting a sense of the spirit of his new team? 1-2. The runner driven into center and deep. This one's not going to be caught. This one is gone. Ben Zobrist has hit a 2-run home run, his 3rd home run of the series.
1-2 pitch, trying to throw a heater by him. And Zobrist, he's been in this situation before. He's not going to panic. He's going to stay calm, and that's why they went out and got him. Dropped the bat on that one. And the hit by Bautista has been the difference in the game. Fastball right down the middle, and you're right, his 3rd home run in 2 days.
So it's a 3-2 ball game. Another 1-run game for the Blue Jays. Number 3 hitter is Lorenzo Cain. Swings at the first pitch. Kansas City 15-9 in 1-run games, while the Blue Jays are 11-23. Both dugouts on the edge of their seats. This is a real test for the Blue Jays.
Yes, it is. And you want to play playoff baseball, this is what it feels like.
Cain fouls it into the seats. The Royals have been tested and played into Game 7 of the World Series. The Blue Jays trying to experience that. Ben Zobrist played in the World Series in 2008 with Tampa Bay.
And I'll tell you, it's a different feeling. You've had it. You've been in the playoffs before. It's a different atmosphere. Every pitch is important, and I'm telling you, this 4-game series feels like that.
strikes out Kane. The Blue Jays have a 1-run lead. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. 3-2 Toronto. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. Honda Civic, Canada's best-selling car for 17 years in a row, and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Chris Colabello has come up with a lot of big hits for the Blue Jays this year, and he's got another one here in the 4th inning after a hit by Encarnacion. Colabello takes this pitch from Edinson Volquez and hits it over the left center field wall. His 10th home run of the season got the Blue Jays 2 runs. And this afternoon it got us our drive of the game.
What a ball game. What a series. And it promises to be the same type of series when Minnesota starts the 4-game series tomorrow afternoon. New pitcher for Kansas City is Kelvin Herrera, the hard-throwing right-hander.
Yeah, this guy hits triple digits with ease. Herrera. We have seen him now 3 times in 4 games, and you see Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, going out to talk to him. But 40 strikeouts this season in 45 2/3 innings with a good fastball and a nice changeup. An ERA of sub-2 for Herrera.
Justin Smoke entered the game defensively at first base. He'll bat for the first time, hitting in the 5th spot in the order. It'll be Smoke, Martin, and Pilar for the Jays. The Blue Jays had an unfortunate bounce of the ball in the 7th when Bautista's double bounced out of play for a ground rule double. That cost them a run. Tulowitzki would have scored had the ball stayed in the ballpark, but he had to stop at 3rd. Goins scored from 2nd on the Bautista double. 2-0 to Smoke. Fouled it off the catcher's glove. Bautista with a big RBI here this afternoon. He's got 70 for the season. He had a pair of RBIs yesterday. 3-1 to Smoke. The Blue Jays have had a very interesting bonding afternoon.
You know what? I agree with you. You know, after this is all said and done, this team's going to come together, especially if they can hang on and win this ball game. After games like today, you get into that locker room and you say, you know what, boys, we fought together as one, 25 guys, and won a very tough game.
Full count. Smoke hits it off the end of the bat down the left side, foul. First-time teammates Tulowitzki, Donaldson, and Bautista experiencing something they haven't experienced together before. A bench-clearing situation here this afternoon. Everybody standing up for Donaldson. Leadoff walk. If you want to be one of the big boys, you got to beat the big boys. This is the rubber game of the season series between the Royals and the Blue Jays.
That's what I mean. The Royals are where the Blue Jays want to go to. And if you want to go through there, you got to knock on the door and you got to bust through it. American League Championship teams are not going to lay down for you. You're going to have to earn it to beat them.
Russell Martin with a mighty cut. That fastball hit 99 from Herrera. Ball on the strike. Not many people have left this ballpark. Two and one.
Why would you? You got to stick around to the end, don't you?
45,736 in attendance, and it promises to be the same crowd tomorrow.
Times in 4 days now that Herrera has pitched in this series, so a little rusty, and that's going to bring Dave Island, the pitching coach. Lots of choices here for the Blue Jays. Give you some options here. Kevin Pillar is hitless today. You see Lou Rivera going down there, talk to him. Bunt situation, yes. But he's walked two batters, and you don't have a lot of speed out there at second base. It's almost going to have to be a perfect bunt if you decide to sacrifice.
I think that's why Rivera came down, as opposed to just giving him the sign, just to tell him, hey, you know what, you might want to bunt it right to the third baseman and pull him away from third to make sure you get it down.
Pillar had a sacrifice bunt the other day. I'd give him one shot. Let him swing away one time. Right here, maybe play for a big inning. They are crashing on the corners here.
Pillar showing bunt. Swinging away and cuts right through it. He didn't look very comfortable doing that. Chesler Cuthbert playing third in place of Mike Moustakas. Hosmer, a Gold Glovers at first. Pillar squares this time and takes one away. The Royals are going to rotate. Escobar, the shortstop, broke toward third.
Yeah, they got the wheel play on right here. That's where the shortstop gets a running lead from that runner at second base. And the pitcher crashes straight in. The corners crash in. It's an easy out at third base. What it does is it leaves the middle of the diamond open.
It sure does. And the pitcher has to unload as soon as Escobar takes off for third. Pillar bunts it, but foul.
where the middle of the diamond, there's nobody there.
Yeah, and if the pitcher doesn't unload in a hurry, there's a huge void in the middle of the infield. Of course, now with 2 strikes, they won't have the same type of defense.
They'll just play a straight bunt up just in case Pilar is still sacrificing.
One and 2 to Pilar. Popped up down the right side. Hosmer, Infante give chase. Infante makes the catch. Smoke's going to third, and he'll make it. Oh, good running by Smoke. He tagged up, and why not? It's going to be a foul ball, but Infante's momentum cost him a couple extra steps, and Pilar will be credited with advancing the runner to third.
Yeah, you can do that with the second baseman with his momentum taking him away from the infield. You can do that tag up, heads up play by Justin Smoke. If the right fielder comes in and makes that play, he can't do that. When he recognizes that the second baseman catches it, he's able to advance. And now, Blue Jays have a runner at third base, less than 2 out.
A play like that doesn't seem so important in May. All of a sudden, it's a heck of a play.
Pretty big right now, isn't it?
Ryan Goins scored the decisive third run of this game after getting a leadoff single against the left-hander Franklin Morales in the 7th. Blue Jays with runners at the corners. The Royals are playing for the double play.
Ryan's had 4 good at-bats this afternoon. He lined out to first base. He walked and singled and scored his last at-bat. He needs another one right here against a tough customer, Kelvin Herrera.
If you had a faster runner at third, it might be a good time to use that safety squeeze. Not the case here with Smoke.
Yeah, it's an option. They're going to have to let him hit away.
Good cut, but foul back. Bottom of the 8th inning, the Blue Jays trying to add to their 1-run lead against one of the toughest right-handers in the American League. Third baseman Cuthbert broke in behind Smoke at third. Luke Hochevar, big right-hander, starting to loosen up. Hochevar pitched on Friday. Pitched 2 innings. The 9th and 10th. Goins with a 2-2 count.
Good at bat. They're making him work with those walks. 21 pitches now for Herrera. That is why Hochevar is up.
Justin Smoke walked to start the inning. Martin walked right behind him. Then Pilar popped out. Smoke went to third on the pop out. Ryan Goins trying to add the lead. Ben Revere standing on deck. 3-2, 1 out. Ball forward, that load the bases. 3 walks in the inning. Herrera pitched on Thursday and Friday, threw 15 pitches Thursday night, threw 19 pitches in 2 innings on Friday night, and now he'll have to deal with Ben Revere.
And Revere looking for his first hit as a Blue Jay. It's the perfect time for it right here. Infield has got to come in. Royals are going to play home to first on any ball on the ground.
Revere has 26 ribbies on the season. He's a great contact hitter. Drives it to left and deep. Zobra's back. He makes the catch. Smoke tags. He's going to come in. Then Revere with the insurance sac fly here in the eighth.
You know, there's nothing like going to a new team and then doing something to help that new team win a ball game. You're brought into the fold, if you will. When you do that, you can see the smile on Revere's face. He feels pretty good about his new team after that at bat.
Had a sacrifice bunt in the seventh. Has the sac fly here in the eighth. Boy, that's a huge run. Now Tulowitzki. Drop. Rios can't make the play. Marlins around to score. Bowen stops at third, and Tulowitzki with an RBI.
You know, Buck, that's why I want one of my best hitters hitting in the leadoff spot right there, coming up in a tough situation. His fifth at bat. We talked about it all game about the first two hitters getting that extra at bat a game. I want him coming up in tough situations with runners on base, and Troy Tulowitzki delivers.
The Blue Jays have scored 2 runs here in the eighth on just 1 hit. Herrera walked 3. Tulowitzki delivers a big RBI single on the base hit to right. The Blue Jays have stretched their lead to 3 runs thanks to the Tulowitzki RBI. Luke Hochshaver in relief of Kelvin Herrera to face Donaldson.
Fantasy Camp, November 15th to the 20th in Dunedin, Florida. Join Roberto Alomar, George Bell, Jesse Barfield, and many more for the ultimate Major League experience. Your package includes airfare, hotel, meals, uniform, and 4 days of baseball. Spots are limited, so visit BlueJays.com/fantasycamp right now.
Luke Hochshaver facing Josh Donaldson. Runners at the corners. 2 outs. 2 runs in here. The Royals scored 2 in the top of the 8th. The Blue Jays have answered with 2 here in the bottom half. Luke Hochshaver pitched on Friday night.
2 very strong innings against the Blue Jays. Hochshaver, the 9th and 10th, he allowed a hit and a strikeout.
I think Donaldson would love to hit a 3-run home run right here just to send Kansas City off. Tim Leeper is the acting manager, and when the Blue Jays score 5 or more runs, look at their record, 46-12. They've scored 5 or more than anybody else in baseball.
Looks like he's trying to hit a 3-run home run, doesn't he?
Or a 6-run homer.
It's been an emotional day for Josh. Started in his first at bat in the first inning.
Donaldson has driven in 7 runs against the Royals in this series. He's 0 for 2 with a hit by pitch and a walk. Donaldson, for his career against the Royals, has 7 homers and 18 RBIs in 26 games. The curveball is upstairs. Tulowitzki has 4 RBIs since joining the Blue Jays. Bautista had a big double in the 7th. He'll be next if Donaldson can reach. Jim Wolf calls out Donaldson. Ball was a breaking ball off the plate outside. That'll end the 8th. But the Blue Jays get 2 big runs here in the 8th inning. They've extended their lead to 5-2. Ben Revere making a contribution, the sac fly. He picks up his first RBI for the Blue Jays. We'll go to the 9th. Still not out of the woods. Hosmer, Morales, and Perez for KC.
At 10 p.m. Eastern, only on FX. F and Nora finally get to see the lethal virus in action. But will it be enough? Find out in a new episode of The Strain tonight at 10 Eastern, only on FX.
It'll be Hosmer, Morales, and Perez for Kansas City. Eric Hosmer is 0 for 3. He's trying to keep his hit streak alive. He's hitting 14 straight. Roberto Osuna came into the ball game with 2 outs in the 8th after Aaron Sanchez was ejected. Sanchez was ejected for hitting Alcides Escobar. Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, had put the warning in play way back in the 1st inning. So Gibbons has been ejected. Sanchez and DeMarlo Hale have been ejected. Hale is an automatic ejection, as he's the acting manager when a pitcher is ejected for hitting a batter. Tim Leeper is now acting as the manager. Osuna trying to pick up his 4th 4-out save of the season. Kendrys Morales, he's 0 for 2 with a walk. The Royals have 2 runs on just 3 hits. Hosmer pulls it foul.
That ball looked like it had a little cutting action on it that time from Osuna. If he's going to get that 4-out save, he's going to have to get some hot hitters. Eric Hosmer is as hot as anybody in baseball. And Kendrys Morales, 73 RBIs coming into this one. Boy, those runs in the bottom of the inning were huge.
Huge runs. Calvin Herrera, excuse me, comes in and walks 3 in the inning, and Tulowitzki had the only hit. Then Revere had a sac fly, his first RBI as a Blue Jay. Hosmer fouls it off. 45,736 in attendance here on this Sunday afternoon. Troy Tulowitzki with a big RBI in the 8th. He now has 4 ribbies since coming to the Blue Jays. This is his 4th game.
He didn't even play yesterday, just pinch hit.
Hosmer grounds it. Goins to his left. 1 down. So Hosmer's hit streak more than likely will come to an end at 14. Don't forget tomorrow afternoon, it'll be another day game. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern. That's Blue Jays Central with Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn. David Price will start tomorrow against Irvin Santana. The Twins are in town. Kendrys Morales. So Price has had an extra day to get settled in here with the Blue Jays. He'll make his first start. He is 8-3 for his career against the Twins, and that's who he'll face tomorrow.
I think there's going to be some excitement in the ballpark tomorrow, just like there is today. It's one of the best games that we have seen all season long right here.
Foul back, it's 2-1. Right after this game, we'll go to Blue Jays Central, and Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn will break down this ball game, and there's a lot to be talked about. And also, we'll take you live to John Gibbons' post-game press conference, so stay tuned for that. Greg and Jamie will have a lot to talk about. 9 innings of excitement and a terrific 4-game series. Full count. Catcher Sal Perez is on deck. Ground ball. Goins out in right. He can't make the play. Morales gets a base hit with 1 out. Sneaks it past Goins.
Now that's hitting it through the shift right there. Ryan Goins was playing short right field. Anything on the ground, he's got a chance to get it. And he comes up. Look how far out in right field he is playing. Kendrys Morales pulls it just out of his reach for a base hit.
Bouncing ball up the middle. Tulowitzki will go to the bag, throw the first ball game. The Blue Jays win it 5-2 and take the series 3-1. Roberto Osuna picks picks up his 7th save. Colabello with a big 2-run home run in the 4th.
You know, I think when this series started, if the Blue Jays had any thoughts of going to the playoffs, they had to make a statement and win at least 3 of the games. They did just that, taking 3 out of 4 from the American League champs, the defending American League champs. They did it with great pitching. How about R.A. Dickey this afternoon?
R.A. Dickey was terrific.